Good morning. As I try and warm up my voice, it is 6 a.m. Everybody is sleeping except silly old me. This is the setup we discussed yesterday, and for now we're just sticking with VIX as the opening chart. Why not? Because it shows so nicely what is going on the hourly. What you want to see is a setup on VIX. And as you can see, we have the undercut and the EMA 9 continuation is failing. This is an RT and it is targeting hourly EMA 9. So you want that to reject here somewhere and push lower. Otherwise this breakdown fails and then it's going to challenge this resistance here, the 21, and confirm the hourly turn. Now, if we look at the indices, we have pretty much the same, only less pronounced. But we are coming out of the 21, which is generally the trap setter when we have an extended trend and we are looking for exhaustion. We need to turn. So this is not ready to short yet. This was yesterday's long into the London session. This is a 4-hourly diagonal. And then that produces, residual buying power, you could say. People are not ready to sell yet. People are still trailing. Their stops would have been below these higher lows, and then the 21, they're now trailing that. And the first people are already understanding that this is not going to continue much longer. So then you get the first sellers because this continuation failed and that didn't follow through. So we're bouncing here again, and that's how you get these topping formations. But what you technically generally see after, extended trends is when this exhausts, that the 21, it makes that three-wave bounce, and this can go higher or not higher. That really doesn't matter. What is important is this is a three-wave move, which means buyers are trying once, buyers are trying twice, and when this does not extend, it means that this is correcting now. So we are already correcting, we are consolidating sideways, and the hourly EMA 9 trend is ended. Price is no longer respecting it, and we just need to wait for a breakdown below this zone here, and we'll be challenging the hourly EMA 50. This is where I'll be looking for my first longs, undercut of this, undercut of the diagonal. We have the 10-minute models, we know what to do. Same for our good friend the Nasdaq, which is showing the same principle, but also confirming what I said. You lose the 21 here. It's an undercut here. It's set up the long there. It still counts in my book. The question is also, because I remember trading this yesterday and price actually touched the 21 and didn't actually lose it. But when price then aggressively pushes higher, this moving average gets but regardless, this is the 21. We didn't get a double close below, and that is what counts as a 21 bounce. You can't say it's a 50 bounce because it's just around the mean, not towards the 30. It's like if you get closer to the 34, you would say okay, maybe. But this is, in my opinion, still part of the EMA 9 uptrend. Just a dip, reclaim, and push. And yeah, then it is a sign of weakness, of course. And then you get something. So this will be 1, 2, 3. And this is what I always say to everybody. It's never an exact science. You cannot always expect equal legs and whatever. And of course, it's still possible that we go higher from here. As long as we hold that hourly EMA 21, we are still holding the 14. We are turning again. It's possible that we continue higher. That's why we have level 1. And I'll be looking for for dips into, level 2, level 3, want to really get long into a higher low here. That will be testing hourly, 4-hourly EMA. Now you see this is sloping very, very, very steep. And this is momentum, right? But do have that evening star. It depends now what's going to happen, because if you get a similar type of candle down, we still have 44 minutes. So that's likely not going to happen. So we can get again this situation where we spend time here, right? And and then maybe make a failed breakout and then can short. It's it takes time. This needs to slow down. This needs to turn. This needs to contract. I know people are already loading the boat with shorts. You can see from flow, but most of these are like 1 or 2 months out. But people are counting on rejection here. So we need to wait now after this push for sellers to have their chance. And, whatever they do here, market makers are going to game it again. We know this. We need to wait for a good setup. We don't have anything right now. But, if we can get, here, maybe long. If we can get here, long, that's what we want to see. That has to play out over the next couple of days. And when we remember how patient we were here and what it took before sellers had their actual shot and buyers took control, right? It's the same as steep, backtest, push, backtest, push, backtest, push. So, right, every time, 3 to 5 candles at least. That is the plan. Let's quickly have a look at what the market is doing, because that will give us context for our expectations. You can see we still have upside in play if market makers want. We see that there's an absence of sellers. Quick sip of that morning coffee. What would life be without fire and coffee beans? You can't burn coffee beans without fire. You can't heat water. We'd be lost. But we are at that resistance here. And this is what we discussed yesterday. We need to hold that EMA 9 here. That would be a backtest of that red bar on the futures. That is the same here. And tech is leading, of course, is what I wanted to see. I need to clean this up a little bit. I won't bother you with that. Here we have, gap up, pushing. We're above the mean, back tested. This can go higher. People are shorting, and I don't know why, because we have failed breakdown. We have higher low. And this can be the next couple of days. Exit rally, whatever. But there's no shorts here. No shorts, no shorts, no shorts. Every time you get that reversal set up, crazy things can happen. And we are still in a volatile market. Complete fractal. And we could get an impulse wave back to resistance. That's the same here. And if you remember from my charts a couple of months back, I was looking for this. I proposed it. You can still find it. This is what I said was playing out here, and that is complete now. We could get continuation. We could get a phony. We need a couple of weeks with upside, a couple of months with upside, because if we're going to, make that market crash, make that recession, then this will be that phony wave, that exit rally, where when we get to this level here, everybody will be euphoric, saying the bull market is back on. If you backtest dot-com crash, the Great Depression in the 1930s, but also the Great Recession, 2008, 2009. If you look at these turns, they didn't turn from here. They had this initial warning shot, and then there was no more sellers, and market kept grinding higher for 3 to 4 months. And then it was later in the year where market actually turned. So if we get that now, if we get that B wave, we can say, okay, we're going to, cash out, go into money market market funds and T-bills with all our capital. But for now, we have a long setup and we should not be complaining about anything. I agree if you complain, everything is in a funk. It's whatever is going on in the world. Price is telling us we're going higher. We should be long. Tech is leading. It's not a beautiful chart. I wanted XLP, XLU, and XLV to join this rally. They're making higher lows, and that is not looking so good at the moment. But it is to be expected because pretty much everything is setting up, right? We have that look below for NVIDIA, and if that loses yesterday's low, we're going to start looking for that higher low. This is D1 EMA9 backtested. This is going to start looking for a higher low unless buyers hold this EMA9. We're going to start challenging this still this key level, and we're in a base. So if this goes above yesterday's high, it's possible that this continues straight up towards 138 because there's no confirmed trend. Holding here though and rejecting, that would be more bullish because if that happens, we would be allowed to add. I'm personally hoping that we go and spend 3 to 5 days up here retesting this diagonal or make a higher low here and allow us to buy that dip. AMD not so interesting. That's just going to go. Apple made it. This was a setup. This is what I said I had to buy after the higher low. You can get in here. That is pushing now. That is already 8 points up. That's great for your delta. Well done if you got options here. This is a bit of a strange setup. No buyers here, but there are some calls targeting this area here. It's a nice contraction. Failed breakdown would be long for me. Beautiful. Amazon, I gave this in the Discord. Beautiful. Google, SIM. And as you can see, everything is approaching these exit targets, and all these big stocks, they need their higher lows. Even Palantir, also this one I gave. We're at exit areas. We need higher lows. We need contractions to set up new, and that is what this week's trades should be about. Looking for the exhaustion, looking for that higher low, and then taking it from there. Thanks for watching. Good luck today.